Did you know that every single minute someone in the United States turns 50? Oh, I know it sounds so scary, but it really doesn't need to be. In fact, Dr. Vincent Giampapa of the Cell Health Institute has spent his life in search of a younger you. That's right. He's working hard to make your future a brighter and younger one. He has practiced clinical age management for over 20 years. And my fascination with him started when he spoke to me about stem cells a while back, and then went on to talk telomeres. Oh, I felt a kindred spirit. I asked him to come on the show to tell you all exactly what he told me. And he joins me now. Dr. Giampapa, you are the first board-certified anti-aging physician in the world. And you have spent a lot of time heavily researching on how to keep the body young and healthy. Tell us about your approach, because I hear it's a two-pronged approach. What's your secrets?
Well, you know, today people want to live a healthier life, not necessarily a longer one, but quality time. And what this is all about is trying to understand what is really the origin of the aging process and what can we do now proactively to stay healthy. And it's really about understanding where this whole process occurs, and it really starts at the level of the cell. So rather than treating symptoms, which is what medicine does today, we're
I know, and it's such a mistake. It really is, because a symptom, it doesn't mean anything. It only means it'll come back again if you don't really treat the source. So you're into treating the source of staying healthy and young.
Exactly, and that's where the science is now evolving. I mean, today we have the opportunity, if you will, to understand the importance of what certain phytonutrients and compounds can do to keep a cell healthy. And that's our whole approach, looking at the latest research and bringing, if you will, a new type of product or supplements where the masses of people can really start to experience a difference in the quality of their cellular health.
So on your approach, which you call a two-pronged approach, the first prong is keeping the body and the cells healthy.
Right.
And that includes very good nutrition. I mean, you know I'm a raw foodist, so that to me is the most important thing. But it's very surprising to know that people don't really know what is healthy for their body. And they eat all this cooked food and all these processed foods. You have created a supplement that will help people stay younger and to help lengthen the telomeres. Is that true too?
Well, part of keeping cells healthy is understanding what they need so that they can make accurate copies of themselves, because this is really all about understanding the origin, which is at the level of our stem cells. And so when we're talking about that, we're not talking about embryonic stem cells, we're talking about adult stem cells.
All right, so let me get this straight. When our cells replicate themselves, you really want a Xerox copy of the cell. You don't really want a cell that's going to not replicate itself exactly and maybe shorten itself and become less and less healthy as they keep replicating.
Exactly.
Is that right?
That's exactly right.
Okay, and then when you say stem cells, now from what I understand is stem cells are actually undifferentiated cells, meaning that they can make themselves into anything. So they're embryonic cells that can ultimately become anything that we need them to be in the body. Is this correct?
Correct. To a minus one thing.
Explain to me.
We are, as adults, we all have what we call adult stem cells. Now, they're in every organ of our body, and particularly our bone marrow, but in every organ. So they're the origin and source of all our new body's future cells. So embryonic cells are something we don't even have to deal with. We now know that adult cells, adult stem cells, have virtually the potential that embryonic cells do without having to deal with that issue.
Now, how do you get them out of the marrow?
Well, you know, there's a number of ways, and there's a number of kind of very simple ways to do this with new compounds that actually release those stem cells from our body when we take them for a few days. And in a matter of literally 2 or 3 days, we have hundreds of millions of those stem cells floating through our bodies, and we can simply collect them through a process. Sit back for about 2 or 3 hours in a comfortable chair, and a virtually painless process, and not only obtain healthy but the special quality of cells we need to use in the future for many different purposes.
Now, the compound that you use, it's I hope a natural compound?
Well, the compound we use is something that naturally occurs in the body.
Excellent.
So I guess you can call it a natural compound.
It's a natural compound. Yeah. And your supplements, tell me they're raw.
Yeah. Well, this is the great part. You know, we've looked at the science of cellular nutrition, okay, and what that's teaching us is that human beings evolved on natural raw compounds over generations.
I knew this. I knew this. Yeah. Thank you, doctor.
So
I'm so happy to hear that.
Fried foods, fast foods are not basically compatible with healthy cells. So we looked at the research over the last number of years and saw there's certain key compounds, phytonutrients, algae, enzymes, digestive enzymes, that we have put together in tablet form, in a condensed, if you will, convenient form, and in varieties that you couldn't even get if you wanted to try to do that.
Dr. Giampapa, thank you so much
My
for being
pleasure,
on with us today. And I'd love to have you back on again, and we can talk a little bit more in depth about telomeres, because I know that lengthening telomeres is the next big issue in terms of staying healthy and young.
You're right.
Thank you very much for coming on.